Hello, everybody. Jeff here. Work Against the Grain. I'm back, and thanks for hanging in there with me. Been a long time, but let's get this show started. Got a new hobby, drone flying, right? I'm put a little series together, right? How does this deal with CNC and all that stuff? And I'm kind of expanding the channel a little bit into not only subtractive machining, which CNC work is, but also additive, like 3D printing and stuff like that. Drones is kind of a cool hobby. Anyway, this is the Speedybee Master5 HD drone kit. It's the frame. I'm going to show you how to put it together. In getting into the hobby, there's a lot of unboxing videos, but I never really saw anybody actually put a frame together start to finish. I couldn't find a video for that. And when you first get the box and you see all these parts, you're a little bit overwhelmed. I mean, you can tell by the drawings, the instructions are decent, right? But they're not perfect. But they're good. They're good. No, I'm not trashing the deal at all. I ran into some trouble. That's the side for the camera. I ran into some trouble when I was putting it together, so I said, hey, I'm going to do a video because I'm sure there's a lot of dudes out there like me and gals that get the kit and can't, don't know where to start. So anyway, here's the unboxing of it. That's a heat sink, right? Now, I didn't know that. That's a heat sink that attaches to the DJI O3 air unit, which is the kind of the camera brains, if you will. And so that heat sink actually goes onto the component that is known as the DJI O3 air unit. That's an arm. That's another arm. Are there right arms? Are there left arms? I'll show you in a bit. There's 4 arms that go with the drone. And these are like what they refer to as FPV drones. That's another heat sink for the DJI O3 air unit. It puts off a lot of heat. That little heat sink is integrated into the frame. The other heat sink actually attaches to the DJI O3 air unit. Those are the little rubbers for the on top of the frame to cushion your batteries. And then we've got some antenna tubes and some battery straps, right? And again, being new to the hobby, when you first open the box, you're like, huh? Right? So anyway, that was all the little parts that were in that part of the box. And then in the next part of the box, we'll show you the some of the that's the top plate. And see that little square cut in there? Here, I'm going to show you right here. That's where the battery plug goes. And I tell you, I bought this particular drone because I thought that was a really cool thing that they yes, Jeff, it's empty. They incorporated the little plug into the drone frame for the battery. I thought that was cool. Some of you guys that have been doing drones for a long time are probably going, you're an idiot. Of course it's integrated. But I thought it was neat. That's the side the camera mounts to those little 2 things. And then you got a whole bunch of screws and stuff. And again, opening the box, how do you know, right? M3, M2. The thing's really well built. And carbon fiber, CNC machined, I can tell. Between me and you, I ordered some carbon fiber, and we're gonna throw it on the machine and see if we can't cut our own out. But yeah, that's the plug. That's the little plug for the battery. Yes. Okay. Thumbs up. Thank you. And yeah, I'm going to show you all the little TPU 3D printed parts, all the little fiddly bits, and then we'll put this frame together. Right. That's everything that comes in the box. Okay, here we're just getting the fiddly bits all together, organizing here. We're going to start with the very front of the drone, which is the camera mount. And so you've got your 2 aluminum sides that you see there. And then I'm opening the bag that has the 2 side mounts to it. And, again, this should be really simple, right? But you've got these 2 tiny, look at that, 2 tiny little rubber pieces. Right, and then you've got these little tiny plastic bits that you've got to screw into that frame there. And even after doing one, I got to look at it. Okay, that goes there, right? And the screw holes got to line up. So be sure that the screw holes line up and that the slots that the camera rotates in, those slots there, that those are at the top of that little honeycomb looking frame, okay? And so the rubber goes in first, and then you're going to put the plastic piece on top, and then you're going to put a couple screws in it. Okay, sorry. I was driving myself crazy, so I had to cut out some of the video there, organize myself, and catch up here. Okay, so we've got the 2 aluminum pieces. We've got the 2 side camera mounts, and then I'm getting a little bitty tiny screws. I think they were a M2 something. Small, tiny. Could hardly hold them or see them. And then I got this. This is a USB-C charged little screwdriver thing that has all the little bits, the Torx bits, Allen bits, screwdriver tips, all the little tips that you need to be able to put drones together and do drone stuff. So anyway, here's the camera mount and the front of the drone. I'll speed this up a little bit. That's one side done. And as we go through this, you'll see the entire front come together, and I'll be back. Okay, and so with the 2 sides together, we're going to get the little carbon fiber piece that goes on the top and holds those 2 pieces together. And as I'm fumbling around trying to understand how it goes, there's angles cut on the carbon fiber piece. There's angles cut on the top of the front of the drone, the camera head. And you find the little screws. I think they were M3s. And yeah, 4 of those, and you got your headpiece together, right? We're like 10 minutes into this, and we got our headpiece together. Okay, great. And again, I recorded the whole thing, right? And then I've sped it up and slowed it down, hopefully to make it somewhat entertaining. So now we're going to go into the body. We're essentially looking at step 3, I believe it is, right? And so you've got one of the body parts has some metal inserts for screws in it. That's the one in my right hand there, left of your screen. And that one's on the top. And then the other one goes on the bottom. And then it feels like that rubber piece should pop up inside of that body part, but it actually integrates into the legs. See the arms there? Arms, legs. I guess they're arms. And so those actually go into the rubber piece, either the yellow one or the clear one, like that. Okay? And the legs, you can, they're the same, right? So you could flop them over. There's no right or wrong place for them. They can go in any corner. There's a little cutout on the legs, so where they join together, they half lap together, to use a woodworking term. And then there you go. That's what it's going to look like, right? So in the middle, where the silver inserts are in the frame, you're going to use the M11s, M311s. There, and the M314s in the other 4 spots on the arms, okay? And so I'm going to speed this up again, but it's the M311s in the middle part and the M314s in the corners. Okay, and that's the frame and body all together. And so now I'm opening the little package, and there are some standoffs. We're going to put 4 standoffs that go where we inserted those M314 screws. And those are what are going to hold the top plate onto the drone. Okay, and with the standoffs installed, we're going to see if we can't put the front camera mount, attach it. We'll get the screws here, and then we'll put the front camera mount on the front of the drone. Okay, and with the front of the drone attached, it's now time to put on the top plate. And so make sure that that little square, that little where the battery plugs into, I think that's so cool, is at the front of the drone, up by the head where the camera goes. And then you're going to use some M3 screws to attach it. I just put 3 or 4 screws in here just to hold it until I'm ready to put the insides in. Okay, and then here's that little yellow battery plug I keep going on and on about. That's going to slide in there, and we'll put a couple of screws in there so that we can plug our battery right there. I just think that's such a cool feature. I don't know why they took that out in version 2, because that's really neat. There, I'm just turning it over and be sure we're on the right track. All right, that's the little heat sink. And I probably should have put that in before I put the top on, but there's a little honeycomb shape right there. A little 6-sided slot there, and it just snaps in right there. Okay, and when you put your DJI O3 air unit in the back there, it'll sit on top of that heat sink because those things just generate a ton of heat. Okay, now we're going to take these TPU printed parts. These are for the GPS and the antenna. And I'll fast forward through this because it's a little tedious, but there's these little screws that are inside the packet. They're the only screws that have points on the end of them. They're not machine screws. And so there's holes in the TPU, and you're going to put the screws through there and screw it all together. Now that's how it goes. There's 2 tops actually, which I'll show you towards the end of this clip. There's, depending on what kind of antenna you use, there's a different top piece that goes on there for the GPS. And these little metal inserts are going to insert into the TPU printed parts to give it some rigidity and allow you to then attach it to the frame. And as we fast forward through this, you'll see what I'm talking about. And then here's that other top part I was talking about earlier that attaches onto there. And depending, again, on what antenna you have, will determine which top piece you put back here. Okay, so that's the basics of the frame, right? And here's some of the other TPU printed parts. These are the feet. They snap in there. And as I may have said earlier in the video, you can search on Yegi or the Google, whatever, 3D printed parts for just about any drone model out there, and you will come across something to print on a 3D printer for your drone. And I have a 3D printer, and I printed some of my own feet. I found some feet that fit this drone, and I printed them in blue. And it's a little bit bigger foot. It snaps right on there just like the original ones do. And I don't know, I printed them in blue and red. And so there you go. And then the motors, when you get your motors, and we'll do a video on this as well, when you get the motors, they screw on to the top there. These are the little rubber bumper pads that fit right there on the top there to when you hold your battery down with the straps. Those give you some cushion so the batteries aren't running metal to metal, so to speak, right? So you've got two rubber bumpers that'll sit here. And then this is the little silicone pad, double stick tape, silicone pad that I'm not going to do it now, but that goes on there to protect your frame when you land on hard surfaces or crash, as we all do. Okay, I wish I had some really dramatic music, right? This is the Argus 55 amp F7 stack. I don't know. They call it a stack, I guess, because you get the flight controller and the ESC together. Look at that, huh? I haven't been doing this very long, but I can tell you that looks really cool. And I'm gonna try to get these out of here, solder them up, and see if we can't put a drone together, okay? And that'll come in another video. But hang in there with me. I got a lot of stuff in the head that I want to bring to you guys. Everything from drones to CNC to wood and metal and carbon fiber, everything. So I appreciate you stopping by, saying hello. Thanks again for watching. This is Work Against the Grain. My name is Jeff.